Alright guys, so the last one I'd like to show you today is Seesaw. Flipgrid and Seesaw are very similar, I believe. Seesaw has a little bit, it's definitely geared more towards a younger audience in terms of elementary school. At least all the examples that I've seen, all the videos that I've seen about Seesaw are that. So I'm going to quickly show you how to get into Seesaw. Again, very simple, sign in. I'm a teacher. You create an account. They don't give you they don't give you a lot of information. They don't ask a lot of information. I'm just going to sign in. So I've already made a class and I've already put a few students into that class. There are activities. What you can do is you can get started by looking at a full checklist of some sample activities to assign your students. I assigned my students this reflection quote activity. And what's cool is not only when you're sharing this with your students and talking about how they're going to go about sharing, it'll actually play the instructions verbally, which I like, and it'll go through all the different steps.
Reflect on a famous quotation. First, tap the Add button. Next, tap the Drawing tool. Then, do some research. Tap the Label tool and write a famous quotation from history that is meaningful to you.
So again, it goes through all the steps. So very simple, tap plus. You can share an activity I can post to a student's journal, or I can send an announcement to all of my students. Another way that the way the students can access this is either just through one interface, so through one device, where they're gonna do an activity and then they're gonna place it into their journal. The way this particular class is set up right now, it's set up in shared devices mode, which is, I believe, what most of you will have access to, and not one-to-one devices unless we're talking about high school students. If the students have a one-to-one device and they use a code and they choose their name from a list and then they stay signed in as that student, so they can only post items into their own journal. But in most cases, in middle school and elementary school, you're going to have a shared code, a class code where there'll be shared devices, and the students they're going to have access to all of the journals, so they're going to have to know to put it in their particular journal to share it with. So from this screen, I can get a QR code, which can just be posted somewhere in your room or given to the students when needed. And there's also text codes, but these only last for about 60 minutes. Just for security purposes. So there you go. I'm going to try to sign out, and I have the code on my device. So what the students would do is they would go to Seesaw, they would click I'm a student, and they're going to scan the QR code for their class. And using a device they can do that. My webcam just turned on. I saved it on my phone, so we'll see if it takes it. Oh, it does. There we go. And then I can add something at that point. So I can add a photo, a video, a file, a note, or a link. And again, for those of you who have one-to-one devices, it's kind of interesting because you could really add files to it. But the interface is very elementary and almost geared towards a middle school. So let's say a student is working on something and they want to send a photo. Let's say they do this worksheet. They're going to position it so that you can see it, and they're going to take a photo. And mine was actually asking me to hit the space bar, but I can just take the photo that way. If I like the photo, I don't like the photo, I can retake it. And then when I'm done with it, I can just hit the checkbox. Here we go. That looks a little bit better. And I hit the checkbox, and then I can even draw on it. I could record. I think I did well in this. I think, out of 5, I deserve a 5 out of 5 or a 4 out of 5. I can label, caption, draw on it, rotate it, and once I'm done with that, I can hit the check, and then I'm going to be putting it into my, folder, wherever it would go. So if this is Melanie's, I'd put it in Melanie's folder. Another tool, just besides the students having access to this could also just be a good tool for you in terms of parent-teacher conferences are coming up. You're going to want some evidence or some things to show the parents or the families. This would be a great tool for that. Or in terms of coming to a CST or a CSE or a child study meeting or a guidance meeting, this would also be something interesting to share. I'm sure you guys will think of lots more cool ways to do it, but again, between this tool and Flipgrid, pretty similar. This has a little bit more, I think a little more to it. Flipgrid's really just videos, but I think this has a lot more possibilities, and I'm sure we'll talk and you guys will think about all the different possibilities we can use this tool for. So just wanted to show you a quick show of Seesaw, and we'll get back to the Padlet and we'll share some ideas. All right, thanks guys.